Video on.
Video on. Welcome back, friends. It's a Wednesday cooking show with your cooking hosts, Odin and Amy. Today we had a request from Miss Christina. Thank you, Christina. Was I seeing you the other day? Her request was meatballs. So we're gonna make meatballs, but we're not only gonna make meatballs, we're going to make a little tomato, noodle, feta, cheese mix side dish. It's gonna be good. I hope. I've never made it before. And I'm trying not to make a huge amount so you don't have too much. This will be just a little amount. So first, we're going to go over the ingredients you will need for for your noodle mixture. Okay. Again, like always, I usually go through my vegetable drawer at home and see what I have. You can do the same thing and add it to it, or it's optional. I had some leftover mushrooms, so I'm probably gonna set one mushroom aside for chopping really fine for my meatballs. And so I have now 3 mushrooms. I have some garlic. This is the items we'll be using for the noodle tomatoey dish. I have a half of an onion. I'm probably going to use a half of the half, so a quarter of the onion for each recipe. Let's go ahead. Here, will you cut this in half for me? No, just once. It's not going to make you cry. It's not going to make you cry with one cut. Ready? Push. Nobody can see. Okay. So a half for the meatballs, a half for the tomato recipe. Some cherry tomatoes, maybe just 1 box. If I was going to make the full recipe, it would have called for 2 of these. Some basil. Some feta cheese. They say to use like the real Greek feta cheese because it's made with sheep milk, so it's creamier. It can be expensive. Grocery outlet doesn't always have it, but any feta cheese. That's if you want to make the noodle part of this dish. And some noodles, and we got this style of noodles. There's no nudies going on in here, right, friends?
That's the kind of noodles I liked when I did not like the non ones.
Yeah, these are kind of good because sometimes the flavoring and the juices and the creamy sauce that you're making goes into those holes, or the noodles. All right, is that it? And then I have another tomato at home, so I grabbed that, and we'll be throwing it in. So that's the ingredients, plus some olive oil for the tomato cheesy mixture we're gonna bake up in the oven. And that's gonna bake up for about 40 minutes. So that's a long time. So while we're gonna let that bake in the oven while we're making our meatballs. All right, so we'll catch you back down here when we start chopping everything up. All right, so welcome back. Odin has the 1/4 cup measuring tool, and he is going to measure a 1/4 cup of olive oil, and he's gonna put it in this casserole dish. Yeah, dump it in.
All of it?
Yeah, let it drip for a minute. Now I'm wondering if I am going to put the mushrooms in right away while this tomatoes cook down, or am I gonna wait a little bit because I don't want these too cooked for that 40 minutes. So I think I'll prep them, I'll slice them and put them aside in a bowl, but I'm gonna cook the onions for that full 40 minutes. I think I might change my mind here by the time I go get a bowl and come back. Okay, so now that Odin's made sure every last drippy drop will you go like this a few times and get that to cover the entire bottom? He's gonna make sure the entire bottom of that pan is coated with some olive oil. Again, your oven needs to be preheated to 400 degrees. This is to cook up your tomatoes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this cook for 40 minutes. But before it's completely done, we'll get the noodles ready, and we will have pan fried our meatballs. And then we're gonna put our meatballs, before they're fully cooked, back into the tomatoes and let that finish its cooking. So we'll make some notes in the description on like at what time you need to pull it out, what time you need to put your meatballs in. Okay, so Odin has that all oiled up. We're gonna take one container of tomatoes. Let's see what the ounces are in here. Does it say 1 dry pint of tomatoes?
I like the cherry tomatoes that you use.
I know, it's not cherry tomato season, so these are some organic ones that we found at SPD.
Why are the ones that are usually in plastic are the ones that are usually not in season but still picked?
Because they're picked early from Mexico, and Mexico's hotter, more sun. They don't have much of a winter there. So then they come over, not as ripe as this. They kind of ripen on their way over here. Otherwise, it'd be super mushy by the time they got here. I need you to drop this pint of tomatoes into this dish.
All of them?
All of them. Dump them in. 1 pint. Okay. It's not that many. It's just a little bit. But then what I'm going to do, and so we washed those off before we started our film. And got this organic sticker stuck to my finger.
And the tomato.
And this, I'm gonna add this tomato. Now, if you wanted to say you just want to try it, because I know like these tomatoes can be kind of pricey. They did have them at grocery outlet today for a pretty good price. And then I'm just gonna cut this tomato. You can't really see, can you? Let's see, that's 4. What's 2 plus 2?
4.
Plus 2 more.
4 plus 4.
4 plus 2. Yeah, so I'm cutting this, you beat me to it, in 8 pieces. And just putting that in here like this.
6, 8.
6, 8. My garlic, I'm gonna put in there early. Do you want to try cutting up some garlic?
Okay, a little bit.
Yeah, so remember.
First, I would like to peel the skin off.
Yeah, and we'll use our empty tomato container for. Do you remember the secret to peel the skin off?
Oh.
So there's on the garlic, let's just remind our friends, right here is, we call it the butt of the garlic. I just cut just a tiny bit of that off and put it into my compost if you have compost. If not, your trash bin. And then, yeah, even it. And then what we do next, remember, excuse my little tomato juice. You take your knife and you just push like that, and that will break the skin off. And I just put the whole garlic clove into this dish. Whoops, we lost it.
Works better.
Yeah, it does, you're right. And I said I was gonna prep some onions. You got it, buddy? Oh. There, you did. Okay, then you just drop the whole the whole clove in there. And that's pretty much it. Now we might not need to bake this for 40 whole minutes since it's not as many tomatoes, but there are some seasoning I like to add. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of black pepper, not black pepper, red pepper. And you know, just a little bit because this is not a lot. We don't need salt because this feta cheese is pretty dang salty. And I'm only gonna use half of it since I'm only doing half of the recipe. So will you cut through this like right there? Hold on, we might need this serrated knife for a little bit more saw-like action. Oops, sorry. I didn't think it was gonna be that easy to cut through.
I like to taste really salty cheese.
You wanna taste some salty cheese? Okay. And then we're just gonna plop this in like that. Boop. Just like that. Boop. And then I'm gonna make an estimated guess and say
mozzarella.
I think I'm gonna do like 3/4 of that. So what that will look like is we're gonna cut it in half this way. So let's put it out. Yeah. Cut it in half. Straighten your knife and cut it in half. So that's about 3/4. We'll put that in here.
Now I can cut a little.
Just have the piece off. Yeah, see what you like. Feta cheese is salty.
Oh, it's salty.
Yeah, so you don't want to add any salt to this because the cheese will do all your salting for you. So for now, we're going to save the basil for the end after it's all cooked up. And I'm going to put this in the oven and then come right back. All right, so our tomato, feta cheese, olive oil, garlic, and some pepper flakes, they're in the 400-degree temperature. I put the timer on for 30 minutes. Odin and I, while we're waiting, we're going to go ahead and cut mushrooms and put them aside in this bowl. I think I said, what, 1 mushroom for this dish? No, 1 mushroom for the meatballs, 3 mushrooms for this dish. So first I cut the end off of my mushroom, like so. Put it in my makeshift compost so I can take it home. And am I doing the ones for the meatballs, or are you doing the ones for the meatballs? The ones for the meatballs just need to be
Yours
cut.
is going to be the meatballs, and mine is going to be the other stuff.
Okay, so what you would do for the other stuff is we want to have our mushrooms kind of look like this shape. Okay.
Like this?
Yeah. That's okay. Just put it aside in here, both of those pieces. And so Odin's going to cut the ones nice and thin. Nice. And then I will go ahead and, I know we're kind of doing 2 recipes in one, but we'll make sure it's all spelled out in the description below. So I'll show you. I've cut my mushrooms to first be, this is for the meatballs. So I've cut my mushrooms to be about this, and then I'm going to cut it like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 more times.
Like this?
Yeah, that maybe a little thinner. Okay, but yeah, like that. And if you go, you're just doing fine. And now I'm just gonna dice these because these will cook down in your meatballs. And why I like adding mushrooms. Now you don't have to, maybe you don't like mushrooms. Maybe, you know, when I go to the patch, they don't sell mushrooms where you have to buy like 20. You can actually buy 2 mushrooms. And I really like that because then I'm not wasting any, and maybe I just need exactly the right amount. So you don't have to add mushrooms to your meatballs, but I like to add mushrooms to my meatballs because it makes them moist. Because when mushrooms cook down, they're soft and really tasty.
But they're still soft, even if they're not cooked.
I need to get another bowl for, another bowl for my meatball stuff. And I said what, I was only going to add 1 into my meatballs. I think you're doing such a great job over there. I think I will maybe do 1.5, and then our tomato sauce will be mushroom / tomato. Feta. That's the washing machine going. So remember, just take your time. Your knife skills will get better the more you hang out in the kitchen with yourself. And we'll go over the ingredients for those meatballs on the video as well. And make sure your workstation is clean. We get here and clean our workstation, get it all ready. Here, one more for the, whoa. And this will get ready. This is for the tomatoes sauce. This is for the meatballs. So I'm going to take my onion and peel it off. Like, usually you can just take this piece, which is just skin. Sometimes that's enough, but other times this part, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this part off because I can tell it's gonna be kind of funky monkey.
There.
Okay, good. So this is onion, red onion.
Does it make you?
Purple onion, I guess.
Does it make you like burn?
No, it makes you cry sometimes. So this red onion will be for the meatballs. I have another half onion over there. You want to take the onion paper off this one, and that one will be for no. You're not cutting it to break the oils. It's not oilies, but no. It is pretty, huh? A lady at Ben Franklin counted the mushrooms on my fabric, not the mushrooms, the purple onions on my fabric, and gave me a discount. So I said these little chopped onions were gonna be for my meatballs. Again, you don't have to put onions in your meatballs. I just had a half of an onion.
There you go.
Ooh, a half of an onion left.
Should I cut the top off too?
Yeah. I had a half an onion left in the refrigerator, so I decided to add it to the meatballs.
Oh.
Woo!
Oh.
I can feel the burn, Odin. Ah! I'm gonna take this part off too. Here we go. We're gonna cry on camera again. So for my pizza, my tomato noodly sauce, I'm just gonna cut my onions thin like this and leave them long, because by the time they get in, by the time they cook down, they'll be really good and tender. And I love a tender onion.
I like barbecue sprinkles.
Okay, you weirdo. Here, let's cut the tip of that off.
I can see your eyes.
You can see my tear fall down off my face. Okay, and this little piece of cheese here, I'm gonna leave it out just in case I decide to add it to my stuff over there. That is probably enough for my noodles. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I'll just keep it to the side. All right, so now we have prepped a little bit of onion and mushroom for our meatballs. Again, only because I had it in my drawer. You don't have to go out and buy it just to do that. And we've cut Odin has cut some mushrooms, and I've cut some onion for that tomato stuff that's baking that we're gonna add a little later. I didn't want to put this in there because then if the mushrooms are cooking for 40 minutes, they're gonna get, I like my mushrooms not that cooked. All right, my friends, we'll be right back to show you how we make meatballs. All right, so let's go over really quick the grocery pantry items you will need for the meatballs. Again, these are the noodles we got. I will dish these out later and show you how we're gonna do that. So I'm just gonna put them over near the stove. We will need a little bit of parsley.
Can I have a bite?
Yeah, you can try some parsley. Got a little lazy and got some shredded. It's not Parmesan, but it's just as good. It's shredded. It's not the powder Parmesan. You don't want the powder Parmesan.
Oh.
I know. It's not cilantro and it's not, excuse him. Go get your water. You will need a little bit of breadcrumbs. What else have we used our breadcrumbs from? Maybe you have some leftovers, so you don't need to buy it. So check your pantry. Another thing, this is a lot of, I'm gonna lose this table and everything is gonna come crashing down. This is a lot of parsley, and you don't need all of it for this recipe, but you can go back and make the potato pancakes and use some parsley in that recipe. Really good to do. And the way I store my parsley, let me show you.
And a glass bottle with water in it?
Yeah, exactly. That's how we store cilantro. That's how we store our cilantro, and we store our parsley. We put a little bit of water like that and let it go. So what we'll do is Odin's going to take the twisty tie and the tape off of this.
Yay, twisty tie.
And put it together. Some soy sauce, if you have it. Maybe you have had Asian Garden and you have packets of soy sauce in your drawer. You can use that. Some Worcestershire sauce. This was on sale. I didn't realize how expensive this stuff can be. I use it a lot for my other recipes. You don't have to add this if it's out of your budget. That's okay. They do sell smaller bottles too. If you don't use it as often as I do, you can get the smaller bottle. But since I usually, no, don't cut it yet. Here, put it back in the water just for now, okay? I'm gonna teach you and our friends how to cut that in a second. All right, So, again, I forgot to get, I was out of Worcestershire, so I had to buy some anyhow. I use Worcestershire in, like, if I'm doing like an Asian dish, maybe I'll use that for my meats. Let me get a little measuring cup real quick. So our friends know how much I'm using.
Can I see what we made to make chicken strips or what are we doing?
Oh, that's what it was. We used the breadcrumbs to make chicken strips because I was telling them if they bought those supplies for that recipe, they should have some left over. So Odin's gonna go ahead and grab our ground beef and show you. We bought a pound of ground beef
From SPD.
from SPD. I'm gonna put, very slowly put 1 tablespoon, and then I'm gonna open it up. Just set it down. You wanna start untaping it?
Okay.
Let's see, I'm gonna, whoa, 1, 2. I'm gonna use 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire. I might add more. So Worcestershire kind of brings out that good smoky kind of flavor.
Oh,
I don't know if
yeah.
I've caught.
Yeah, I like
You
the
smell it?
smoky.
I love the way Worcestershire smells.
Me
What
too.
makes it so? I think it might have anchovies in it. Molasses, sugar, spices, celery seed. Yeah, fish flavoring, which is just what makes it salty.
It smells so good.
It does smell good to me too. And then a tablespoon of soy sauce. Again, saltiness, but it kind of makes it juicy. Odin's going to put, or I'm going to put the ground beef, the whole pound of ground beef. Here, I'll touch this and then I can wash my hands and you can just do that. I'm gonna go toss this in the trash. And come back. Hello. This is where you're gonna want your hands clean because we are gonna actually get in here and work. Are you gonna touch this with me? Okay.
I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna be
okay.
the audience.
Good. So here's the
Just
meat.
look in the
Here,
camera.
why don't you dump this in here? That's our mushrooms and our onions. Here, use your hands to get that out. I'm gonna wash.
I like helping the vegetables. Not the meat. Meat sometimes grosses me out sometimes.
That's okay. I feel the same way. I've gotten over it. I get a little drink of water. Okay. So we put that in there. Not everybody likes this, but I do. Just like a dash. We'll call it a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg if you have it. No big deal if you don't. You don't have to put it in there. We don't need to put the salt. I don't like to add extra salt. I've got that soy sauce and Worcestershire. I'm gonna add a little bit of cumin. Again, we'll call it a quarter teaspoon of cumin. Cumin's really good. I use it a lot in my taco meat, my beans, so it's something I always have. And if you want to know a really good secret place to get cumin is at SPD. It's $5.99 or $4.99. Comes in a big container and it says SPD cumin on it. They probably buy in bulk and then they can sell it cheaper because something this size would be about $6. But in that other container, you're getting about 3.5 of these for the same price. And for a spice that I use a lot. And then I'm gonna put some red crushed flakes in here.
Pepper flakes.
Pepper flakes, I'd say, you know, a few shakes. You don't have to do this. Maybe you have leftover from pizza. Maybe you don't at all. I just like a little bite. And then I'm going to add, ooh, that pepper flake kind of makes me feel like I'm going to sneeze. Let's see, I'm gonna sneeze. All right, there was, oh, that pepper brought on the sneezes. Okay, off camera eating, remember? The Parmigiano, or looking like a Parmigiano, but it's a Romano. I'm gonna call a quarter cup, all right? Is somebody over there? Is it Christy?
No.
Is it Chris?
Uh-huh.
Is it Wednesday already?
Uh-huh.
So we're gonna call this a 1/4 cup of cheese. Okay, you can measure it. I like to eyeball my stuff. Next, I'm gonna show Odin how to cut some parsley. We're gonna say not a lot, not too much, because I can take this home and
Show me how to, and then I can do this.
yeah. So I like to take my parsley or my herbs, and then let me see how much meat is that. Oh well, if we don't have to put it all in.
I like some plants in there and some vegetables.
Yeah, so do I. I'm gonna break that off. Put that in the compost. I'm just gonna fold it, and Odin's gonna finely chop it. You want this knife?
I like this.
Okay,
knife,
that's
but
fine.
Safer.
That's fine. We're gonna let him do that
Okay.
the best he can.
one.
You want this one?
That's
Okay.
better.
Remember, chop. You need. Can you hold these so my fingers are out of the? I think I'm gonna go to 4 tablespoons Worcestershire. You want me to do it? You tried. Whoa.
It bangs against my teeth for some reason.
Huh.
I think you're better at it.
Well, I have more practice. It's not that I'm better at it. It's just I've been doing it for a while. I can hear those tomatoes in there bubbling. So let's see. Here, please don't do that right now. Thank you. So I'm gonna just fold my parsley like this, and I'm gonna come in. Can you see? Slowly, not without cutting my fingertips off, or
that pepper does make me sneeze.
yeah. There goes Miss Chris through the building. We're gonna do this, and a few more times. We're just gonna choppily finely chop it, right? Oh, that sneeze made my nose kind of want to be a runaway nose guy. Okay. You don't have to add parsley. I just love adding parsley. And see, I kind of chopped it up fine, not too fine, fine enough, and I'm gonna have Odin scrape it off the cutting board into our meat mixture bowl. Ready? Hi, Chris.
Are you on film?
Yeah, you can come say hi. We're gonna
I'm in the picture.
have to get down low. There she is, Miss Chris. Ah. All right,
Hello, everyone.
we're
It
making.
smells delicious and garlicky at NCA right now.
It's nice coming into the building and having a nice waft of goodness.
I agree.
All right, so we'll be right back to mix that up. All right, video on. We just wanted to say hi to Miss Chris off camera there. We have some leftover milk. What did we make last time? Muffins? Was it muffins? Was it that long ago that we made muffins?
Muffins or pancakes?
We skipped last week because we had videos pre-made, and we also did little stuff that kind of took up our day. So we missed you last week. I feel all discombobulated because of that. I'm gonna take let's call it 4 tablespoons of milk. Again, any milk. This is just something we had left over. We did a sniff test, make sure it's still good. Take it home and offer it to the cat. Yeah. Oh, and what do you have that needs to go in here?
Egg.
How many? We travel with 2
2,
just in case. But we need how many
1.
for this recipe? Right, 1.
O-N-E.
O-N-E, 1 huevos. Okay, and he's gonna crack it in here first. Again, you remember I've been telling you I don't measure, so making recipes for you guys is very tricky.
I can't tell if those are in here.
It's not. Those are just a few cheese pieces. Compost.
Compost.
Okay, and then you're gonna use this. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, that we had a little towel fight last night out in the yard, and I laughed so hard. And I meant I want to have that video. I had to do a video of it because we were almost laughing till we like exploded.
And I broke the chicken door.
Oh yeah, we were playing so hard, and I was like teasing him. He's like, play rough, and then I pushed him, not hard, but he like fell back and broke the chicken door, and we had to duct tape it with Gorilla Tape. Will you take this one egg and add it into our? We haven't mixed it up. I like to just dump everything in here, and then get in and mix it all up.
It's so pretty.
Isn't it pretty? And I'm gonna say, I don't know. I don't want to do a 1/4 cup. Well, no, let's just do a 1/4 cup. That will make an easy measurement for you guys. So a 1/4 cup.
Is there roots in there?
Whoops. No, it's just sloppy because I opened it sloppy. We'll do a 1/4 cup of those panko breadcrumbs that you have left over. And you're gonna have really clean hands because off camera you wash them really good for 20 seconds like a surgeon. I'm going to do that, and then I'm just going to go in here and mix my ingredients together. Now if you don't want to use your hand, that's fine. Maybe you have a big spoon that you can use. The reason why I like to use my hand, because then I can feel that it's in there mixed up really good with everything else. You're mixing your Worcestershire in there, you're mixing your egg, those mushrooms that I added. Again, you don't have to do that. You could just do the beef, the Worcestershire, and the cheese. That's all you'd really have to do if you wanted. Again, I don't over add salt. I hate things to be too spicy. Crying from that onion. It made my nose go on a marathon. So I would say, check that out.
Pretty.
Pretty, huh? And you kind of couldn't tell, you know, there's not like all of your pieces sort of have your mushrooms and your onions. Would you make these into balls, or are you saying no thank you to touching this stuff today?
No thank you for touching this stuff.
Okay. So, since I don't think you can reach a plate over there, can you?
No, but...
Ooh, how about this?
Where?
Not ooh. Turn around. Glass dish. Yes, that pie dish. So what we're gonna do next, how many minutes do we have left? We have 4 minutes. It's almost been a half hour. So come bring that over here, buddy. And set that here. And so I'm gonna go wash my hands and get ready to form these into balls for you. We'll be right back.